born under the TI-333 star sign. A cat. Are we in trouble? Today we react to game journalists are targeting YouTubers who criticize Tweet Baby Inc. Let's find out. This is by Rev Says Desu.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to be looking at a shift in the Gamergate situation where games journalists are now shifting their focus onto YouTubers. Now, one of the people doing this is the Kotaku contributor Alyssa, one of the people responsible for the main articles defending Sweet Baby Inc. She has made it very clear on Twitter recently that she's going to be shifting her focus onto YouTubers and will be making hit pieces about a select few content creators. Now, one of the people that is definitely the focus...
Maybe she wants that sweet ad money from all the keywords she can go for there.
...of this recent push is the content creator Melanie.
Which, I mean, fair enough, but then maybe you should be correct on the marriage. That's all I ask for.
Mac. Now, in this case, I think Alyssa is going to bite off more than she can chew because even the proposal of this article is getting major backlash. So you might be asking yourself, why would you do this? Why would you make this article knowing you're probably going to get bodied on social media for making it in the first place? Well, it's obvious. Kotaku is desperate. I mean, look at the Google trends of Kotaku from their start to current date. It is absolutely brutal. You can see in the early days, they're doing very well, you know, making articles that had actually something to do with gaming. However, they exploded in popularity in 2014 when the Gamergate situation started, when they started making more politically leaning articles that were defending members of the industry that they were friends with. However, they continued this political push, and it fell into irrelevancy, and so did Kotaku in the process, until they basically flatlined here over the past couple of years, only a heartbeat over complete irrelevancy. And you can see, whether you want to call it Gamergate 2.0 or the continuation of the original Gamergate, this recent talk about Kotaku, all this nonsense going on in the last couple of weeks, all the attention they've gotten has resulted in nothing. This little blip
not up to date
on the map here is all the attention that they got out of this. They couldn't even rage bait people into clicking on these articles. I think a lot of the games journalists involved in this current situation and in the past thought they would...
I do wonder, what was their model before? Were they getting like exclusive scoops on like some of the big console gaming systems, or what were they doing? I don't know. Now people are doing totally different stuff, like play Fortnite or whatever. Also, League of Legends happened somewhere. True.
Relive the 2014 glory where everyone's going to be talking about these gaming journalists and their websites, and they're going to explode in popularity, and they're going to end up back on national TV and things like that. But it just didn't play out that way. Now,
it sounds like a great way to set your brand on fire in the long run. So, also hindsight 2020. So, you know, I don't want to make this too much about that because maybe there's other reasons, but at the same time, this does point to a lack of strategic vision for where you want to go with the company.
Why are we talking about these individuals and these potential hit pieces? Well, it starts with this recent news we talked about the other day, where the Kotaku editor-in-chief would resign after a new editorial edict that went into place. And what was that? Well, basically, management told Kotaku contributors to make more game guides and to...
50 guides per week per person. That was ridiculous as a suggestion. Although making more guides is something... in general, it would be good, but 50 per person,
Stop making articles with political news and things like that. And of course...
And that situation seems to be evolving. There may be a pivot. Maybe not 50 articles per week. Maybe still some of the other stuff. But so, you know, I wish them the best at Kotaku. I hope they figure out a decent balance to strike for whatever they're trying to do.
Of course, the natural response of these...
But not 50 articles per week per person, I think.
...these weirdos at Kotaku was to immediately resign. But one of the people who was also very upset about this was obviously Alyssa as a Kotaku contributor, saying the fact that leadership wanted to aggressively pivot what Kotaku does in the midst of a harassment campaign levied against me and the site for an original piece of...
I mean, they should pivot looking at that search graph, if you ask me anyway.
...reporting that was the second most read story for over a week is telling. And again, like I said last time, the fact that this was not the most read story on Kotaku is very odd, especially with all of the attention that was put on it, whether it was positive or negative. Well, of course, while she's ignored all these criticisms people have been launching, including her anti-white comments about people's age, things like that, she has decided to focus blame on other people and try to slander and attack them. So she made this very vague but not so vague tweet.
I'm still not sure what the kind of business outlook is for having a person like this in the company. I mean, maybe she can adjust and, maybe she got some skill set I'm not thinking of that may be useful. Anyway.
Saying, there's a story I've been simmering that I really want to pick back up again. If anyone has any connections to a prominent female Twitch streamer / gaming personality who leans very hard into Christianity and homophobia, DM me or email me at link in bio.
That's an awfully specific description. Is there such a Twitch streamer?
And that says down here, I'm particularly interested in people who knew this person before their sharp rise in popularity. You can see the replies are turned off. So the only way to reach out is through these DMs or this link. And here's the thing. This whole thing feels very unprofessional. It's odd to me to see a journalist basically say to their followers, do my research for me and find some information. And also these kinds of posts and these threads asking for information, who is going to respond to this in good faith? The only people who are going to provide any information are people who have a grudge against the...
What do they mean? That said, by the way, there are people who are gonna pretend to be your friends, but they hate you, and for some reason they want to stick around to you, and then they can inform people like this of how to get in contact with you or whatever, or maybe do something worse or something. But I don't know how widespread that is, but that does happen. So anyway, so I just wonder, who is this about?
Focus of this tweet. But anyways, it became very obvious that she was referring to Melanie Mack. And as Mark Kern would point out here, this is not the first time there's been a little kerfluffle between these two people. So he says, Kotaku editor Alyssa has a weird grudge against Melanie Mack and wants to fight her. Now she has convinced Kotaku to let her write a hit piece on Melanie, calling out anyone with rumors for ammo. This is not journalism, it's anger and a power play. So here you can see this tweet.
The part where she calls her homophobic, that's low. Phobias are like having a fear of something, so it's a really strange way to refer to somebody who probably isn't homophobic, right? They probably don't have a phobia, right? So I'm confused what that's supposed to mean. This is like like people with phobias, you gotta understand this is not something you choose. It is tough, you know what I mean? Being afraid of spiders, being afraid of heights, it's like, this is a serious business sort of thing, right? You're afraid of people who are gay or trans. It's like, man, like that's a tough one. And yeah, I wish them the best.
That says, once again, asking Melanie to join me in Creator Clash next year, where she's quoting a tweet from Melanie.
And I'm fully aware that was probably supposed to be some cheap insult and not much more or less or something. But anyway, I'm just saying it doesn't really look good on any level in a way, right? So
calling Kotaku gay. Now, here's the thing. Once again, the very tolerant people seeing someone call a company gay and responding...
maybe that's what you mean with homophobia. Fascinating.
With, I'm going to hit you. Because Creator Clash, if you don't know, is a boxing event that features content creators. So that's what she's implying with this response here. And also, like, Creator Clash last year didn't...
Not an endorsement of calling websites that, however, but still, it's like... I mean, I'm also not here to, speech police people, so...
even break even, so I don't think they're going to bring people like Alyssa. Even though it'd be funny to see her in the ring, I don't think she's bringing any value to an event like that that's already struggling. But moving forward, I want to talk just for a minute about Mark Kern here. Mark Kern is someone, you can see his resume and his Twitter bio here. He is someone who is very, very experienced in the realm of the gaming industry and someone who is very well respected. However, he's also been extremely active in this current situation, talking about these game developers, pointing out the mistakes they're making, and also criticizing these games journalists. He's been doing a very good job at that. However, a lot of these games journalists and developers have been trying to lash out and attack him and try to discredit him by labeling someone who is very accomplished as some kind of irrelevant failure. You see this tweet from another journalist here saying Mark Kern is a failed games developer turned reactionary who wants to use the Sweet Baby Inc. coattails to reach popularity. And what's wilder is that he's achieving popularity with the exact crowd he wants. Bigoted, gamers. And of course,
So
just like
he's
every other
winning, as
brave
far as I can
journalist,
tell from this
the
tweet.
replies are turned off. Now, I find this very odd. I don't know what it is with people like this. They just can't wrap their heads around the possibility
when you say
that
something
maybe,
that is
just maybe,
self-defeating,
someone like Mark Kern
there's
talks
a
about
risk that people think
gamers in
you're
the gaming industry
a bot.
because he actually cares.
So
because he was someone who was involved with it for a long time.
I'm trusting Rev
and
here
maybe
that this
he
is a real
actually
person.
cares to see the quality of these games, and he doesn't want to see it keep going down. And he cares about the needs and wants of gamers, and it's nice, it's actually a nice thing that he's using his platform and his voice to talk about these things as it's happening. But no, this person wants to...
By the way, maybe a limitation of the Twitter experience. You get your, what is it, 280? Is it 280 now or something? Characters, lots of characters you can type now as a non-subscriber, and way more if you subscribe. Anyway, on that note, do rate, comment, subscribe to this channel and also to Rev, I guess. Yes, encourage people to do the thing. I heard it's good. Meow.
Label them as some kind of a clout chaser, which is always a very ironic thing for a gaming journalist to do. But of course, this whole thing about, being a failure, at least he was in the game. No matter what, at least he was in the game and he had prominence, okay? You're just a random journalist.
True.
Like, I don't know where you have this audacity, but it's very strange to see you calling someone like Mark Kern.
I appreciate when people got the audacity to say something but then it would be nice if it wasn't a waste of time sort of throwaway remark,
Irrelevant. But moving forward, Melanie Mack would quote that journalist saying, "Mark doesn't need to chase popularity. He's already achieved that from his accomplishments. He's actually passionate about gaming and is fighting back against a culture that is ruining everything. Gaming journos are the biggest clout chasing reprobates. The projection is real," which is also summing up the rest of my thoughts on that previous tweet from the journalist. I mean, the idea of someone needing the popularity of talking about this current situation. Mark Kern does not need that to solidify the popularity he already achieved many years ago through his hard work. But moving forward, back to the original situation between Melanie and Alyssa, she would quote that vague tweet saying, "You could always just talk to me if you want, but it looks like you'd rather find people who don't like me to help you formulate some hate and lies to fit a narrative you've inevitably made up in your head for your own witch hunt." Now, of course, that is my main criticism of tweets like this. It's clear that anyone who's going to respond to that thread from Alyssa is going to be a bad actor. It's going to be someone who holds a grudge against Melanie or wants to kick her down a peg.
The more I think about it, cheap flame bait, whatever, or maybe kind of flame sort of stuff that Alyssa and Merrick put out there, maybe the point is to attract the people who you can work with if you want to do a very, very flawed hit piece or something. So, like, sometimes you're just fishing for the people who are gonna lie their arses off and you got a story out of them, right? So it may be a method to the madness.
Like, no disinterested person is going to respond to that in any sort of a way. It's only going to be people who are already mad at Melanie and are trying to attack her, slander her, or whatever.
Yeah.
But moving forward, Alyssa would actually respond saying, "Hi, Melanie. I would love a chance to talk to you. My email is in my bio if you want to reach out. I planned on sending one your way early next week as it's EOD for me. Thanks." Where Melanie would reply saying, "Judging by your tweet and lack of tagging me in it, your intentions appear to be in bad faith. But I sent an email, happy to chat." And there's a lot of people have already warned her, you should be very careful when you're talking to these journalists. I'm sure she can handle herself, but this is just a PSA in general. Don't talk to these journalists. We've seen how they try to twist the words of people that they're trying to talk to.
You got to have your own story ready and see where it goes.
Whether it's from the Sweet Baby Ink Detected Discord channel or server, they try to give basically the worst interpretation of your words, and they will intentionally frame them poorly, even if it's...
And see, this is the thing. You can always turn around the tables on them. You got attention to detail and maybe take a recording and look at the recording and go through it. Maybe you can get some reasonable story out of it. Actually, a reasonable story.
Very obvious that they're doing it.
It's just,
but anyways, it seems very clear that Alyssa got the approval for this article. Right here you can see she retweeted her response to Melanie, and then right after that made this tweet saying, "Kotaku staff had a somewhat productive meeting with management. Expect news to continue coming from us, at least for now. Your support and your voices certainly helped, so thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't credit Hello Jen Glenn, the editor-in-chief that resigned, for seeing the tide shift and refusing to ride along with it. Her bravery...
I got to give credit here to Alyssa Merrick. She's at least trying to engage. And you can be as bad faith as you want, but at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for both sides to present a story that maybe is gonna make people a little more wiser about what's going on, what kind of things to look out for, and so on. So, I mean, I think that's a win in a weird way. Even if it comes from one of the least good faith places you could imagine, potentially.
Is a huge part of why today went the way it did. Give her all the flowers and all the jobs. So it definitely seems very clear after this talk with their management that now they're going to be continuing their more political leaning articles instead of doing these game guides, which brought them success at the beginning of their company. But it seems like Alyssa, and as a result, really Kotaku in general, is going to continue going down this road. Their pride is in it. They've gone too far with this entire approach to how they do their articles, and they're basically stuck here. They're stuck a heartbeat above complete irrelevancy, and as we pointed out earlier in this video, despite everything that's been happening, all of the attention on Kotaku...
What's the saying with handing somebody a rope? So, anyway, I'm thinking there's something potentially interesting in the making here, so... And hey, if Kotaku manages to stay around, maybe with more gaming content, I mean, good for them, so...
It's still not even enough to rage bait click people into checking out their articles anymore. It's just not even good enough anymore. It doesn't work, but they're going to continue doing it.
Although that saying with the rope, that's got a bit too much fatality for me. You know what I mean? I think people, they got it in themselves to live and learn, so... Let's see, honestly, this got me slightly optimistic, this whole thing. Only slightly, but still.
Because they are that obsessed with this really position they found themselves and created for themselves, and that is a political network that makes very biased articles to protect their friends in the industry, and that's pretty much it. And also to lash out at anyone who dares to criticize them. And in this case,
I don't think there's any friends on that side of the news reporting quote-unquote spectrum. It may all be quite transactional, so... Which, I'm just thinking, things that seem locked in may not be so locked in.
And in this case, they're now shifting that focus to some YouTubers who they believe are criticizing them. But for now, that's going to do it for this situation. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Alrighty, that was pretty fun. I don't feel particularly bad about this. Nothing to worry about. If you want to join the fray in terms of making your own videos, also, as Rev put it nicely, you can share your thoughts in the comments below. Would invite you to do so as well, and I will link this vid below in the description. Do check him out, give him with a like, etc, etc. Also hit us for the like over here. Rate, comment, subscribe, share the video. Hope you have a good one, stay safe. Meow.